Welcome back to Library Trends YouTube channel. Today we'll be learning how to make this lovely cascade sleeve. It's very simple to make and I made this with organza fabric. It's simple and it's elegant. If this is what you would like to learn, kindly stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. Thank you. So to make this sleeve, I'll be working with this off shoulder sleeve. You can do this cascade effect on an off shoulder sleeve or a normal full basic sleeve, but for this tutorial I'm doing this on an off shoulder sleeve. So this is my doll face that I've already drafted for my off shoulder sleeve, and I'll be working with this organza fabric. So I'm using about 2 yards of organza for just one sleeve. So you can use more depending on how full you want it to be, but the beauty of the sleeve is the fullness. So if it's really full, it will help you conceal the rough edges, and also it will give your sleeve that beautiful effect. So now to start, I'm going to measure the space where the cascade will be running through. For me, it will be going from up here downwards like this. So I'm going to take my tape measure now and measure what I have there. So here I have around 12.5 inches, but I'm not going to be using the 12.5 inches in full because I'm going to be hemming this side here, and then I'm going to be hemming it on the lower side also. So I'll have like around 11 inches for my circumference. Okay, so now you can cut your flounce in any way you want. You can cut it in form of a 360-degree flare, or you can cut it in form of a spiral flare, but I love to cut it in form of this 360-degree. So now the 11 inches that you have, you are going to be dividing it. You divide it by 6.28. So if I divide 11 by 6.28, it's going to give me around 1.75, and then you decide on the length that you're going to be using for your flare. For me, I think around 3 inches is okay for me, so that by the time I hem it, I'll have around 2.5 inches. So the 3 inches, if I add it to the 1.75, it will give me around 4.75. okay, so that is what I'm going to be using to fold my flare. So now I'll fold the organza like this, and then I'm going to fold it again into 4, just like you cut your normal 360-degree flare. So after folding it like this, I'll take my chalk and then I'm going to measure the 4.75 round before I remove my radius. Okay, you can remove your radius before measuring it, either way is fine, but I think I'll just measure it round then remove my radius later. Okay, so now this is me taking the measurement round, but I'm just trying to hold it very firmly because organza is a bit slippery and I don't want it to just slip off my hand. So I'm trying to use my other hand to hold it as I'm measuring. So now I've measured it round, and then I'm going to cut it out. Okay, so now I have it now cut out already. So the next thing I'm going to do now is just to remove my radius, which is 1.75. so the length is entirely dependent on you. It doesn't have to be what I used here. You can use something longer or shorter. It all depends on what you're aiming to get and the amount of fabric you have to work with. So I'm removing 1.75 now, and then I'm going to cut it. Okay, so I have this now. So I'm just going to open one side of the flare like this, and this is what I have. So the next thing now is just to place this on the organza again and cut exactly like this, because we are going to be doubling the organza, like more or less like using them to turn out each other. So you are going to be cutting 2 of these for each of your flounce, so that I can use them to turn out each other. And that is what I'm doing. I'm just placing it on it, or you can just fold your fabric into it, but I'm just placing this on it, and then I'm using it like a pattern to trace out my lining, because the other one is going to be serving as a lining for the main one. Okay, I hope you can see this well. So now I've cut it out. Now I have 2 of these. Now it depends on how you want the hemline to be. You can leave it straight like this. It can be straight like this, or you can just take them together like this, unfold, take them together, unfold, and then do like a coffee effect if you don't want it too straight. So I'm just going to take my scissors now and then curve the hemline like this. That is if you don't want it straight. So once you curve it, you have something like this. You can see the effect this is giving us. It's no longer straight down, it's curving now. It can be more curved depending on what you want. So the next thing now is to take this to the sewing machine and then sew it from the hemline like this. From this coffee area, you sew it round, and then we use them to turn each other and give it a good press. Okay, so now you can see I've sewn it. I'm just trying to turn it to the other so that we can see where I sew it. I've sewn it now. Then you need to trim it to the minimum, but because I'm rushing this, I just left it like this. So you need to take your scissors and then trim it to the minimum so that it will not be so obvious that you turned it out. But be careful not to cut off your thread. So when you trim it, when you're sure you've trimmed everything, then you fold it to the right side. Then after folding it to the right side, you take it to your iron and iron it flat like this. You can see how flat this is looking. So you need to do many of these. You can see I've done quite a bit. You can see you need to do lots of this so that you can have a full sleeve. So I've done quite a number of these. Now we're going to be adding it to our sleeve. So to add it to your sleeve, you can either eyeball it, or you can actually chalk it if you want it to be accurate. But if you can eyeball it too, it's fine. Okay, so to do this now, you just need to make lines. Remember I said it's going to run from here to here, so you can just make lines that you can follow like this. Okay, so you can make, this is like the first line now. So you can take your tape rule and measure like ½ inch. If you want like half inch interval, then you measure your ½ inch, and then you make another straight line, and you continue like that. I hope you understand this. So this is my next line, so I can easily eyeball it and say, okay, this is like ½ inch, and then I'll draw out the next line. So you can see that this consumes lots of fabric. Depending on, if you don't have enough fabric, instead of ½ inch, you can use 1 inch, but just know that it will not be as full as you using ½ inch. So you can make these lines. So I've made quite a few lines now. You can see the lines. Okay, so now the next thing now is for me to just be taking my flounce one after the other. But before I attach it, you need to serge these rough edges so that it can be neat. So this upper part here, you need to make it neat, and then you start placing it on the lines one after the other like this, and then you sew it. I hope you can see this. Okay, so I'm just going to place this here now, and then I'm going to sew it. After placing it and sewing it, I'll pick another one and then place it on the next line also, and then I'm going to sew it. So you can see what this is forming for us. Okay, so I'm going to place it on it, and you can see this is 2 now, and you can see the effect this is giving us. So after doing that, you pick the third one also, and then you sew it like this till you finish. That is how you're going to continue to sew it like that. So I'll take it to the machine now and start to sew it, and then bring it back to show us what we have. Okay, so I've gone ahead to sew it. You can see, let me just open it up. You just place it straight following the lines that you did, and you just sew it. Okay, I hope you can see this. Let me adjust. Okay, so you just place it and sew it like that. So now, depending on how full you want it to be, that is the closeness you want. You will see that even some of my lines now, some are still showing. So if you want them really close to each other, you can still place one line in between this for it to be really full and close. Like I said, I used about 2 yards for this. This is all I have left of 2 yards of organza, and I did not even fill up the sleeve. You can still see that I still have spaces here and here because this is a tutorial. So in your case, assuming you are doing a full sleeve and you want it even longer than this, you will need nothing less than 2 yards of organza for each of the sleeve. So you can see it consumes lots of fabric because the fullness depends on the beauty. If it's really full, you're going to like what you see. So this is how you're going to be arranging it to form your cascade sleeve. And now the next thing is just for me to take them together, sew them on the sides like this. And then if you're going to be lining it, remember I left allowance here. I made sure my sewing did not reach the hemline, and I did the same thing for the upper part here also. So you just cut your lining the same way you cut your off shoulder sleeve, and then you use them to turn each other before you close your sleeve on the side. So now I'll close the sleeve on the side, then take it to the mannequin so that we will see what we have. Okay, so this is our sleeve, and you can see how lovely it's turned out. So like I said, this is for the purpose of a tutorial, but if you're doing yours, just make sure you have them very close to each other. You can see even my ½ inch is not that full. This can still take like even 2 strands, 2 flare, 2 flounce, sorry, in between this, because if you have something really full, it's going to give you something really beautiful. So the fuller the sleeve, the more beautiful outcome you're going to have. And like I said, if it is full, it will even conceal all these rough edges for you. But if you don't have enough fabric, you can still leave it like this, but just make sure that you serge these rough edges so that it will be neat. Okay, but if it's really full, like I said, it's going to turn out really beautiful. And you can do your flare anyhow you want. I did a 360-degree flare, and you can see it's even giving me something wavy like this. You can also add crinoline to it. If you have like 1-inch crinoline, you can add to it, but it's not necessary, because even without crinoline, you can see that we still have something wavy. So it's really simple to make, and it is very lovely. Give this a try and let us see whatever challenge you may come up with, and I'll be happy to help you out. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to our channel, and click on the notification bell so that you get notified anytime we upload new video. See you in the next one. Bye.